foods have gotten more complex and more delicious looking over the years. And there are some foods that have become what you might call staples. Like the humble sandwich. But if you think I'm wild enough to try to rank video game sandwiches by myself, as a sandwich pleb, I wouldn't dream of it. To do this right, I had to call in a sandwich expert, and here they are. I am pleased as punch to have with me famed sandwich expert Jake from Adventures in Ardia, and more specifically, Roll for Sandwich. Welcome, Jake.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you mind telling the people what exactly Roll for Sandwich is about?
Absolutely. Roll for Sandwich is my internet show where I roll D&D dice for each step in making a sandwich. So I'll have tables for bread, cheese, meat, toppings, crazy stuff. I'll roll the dice, and whatever the dice decide, that's what my lunch is for the day. Whether it's good or bad or really bad, whatever it is, I eat it and I evaluate its merits as a sandwich, or its demerits, I guess, and let you know if it should be repeated or not.
It's a pretty incredible show. Do you have a best and a worst sandwich that you've ever had that comes to mind?
Oh gosh, I mean, it's getting harder and harder to answer that question because it's been over 300 episodes now. I'm not a big, fish person, especially things that are, really fishy tasting, so times that I've had, sardines or canned squid, other things like that on the show have not been my favorite, but surprisingly, there's been some gems too, so it evens out in the end.
Well, I have gathered for you today 20 sandwiches from all across the gaming lands. I had to narrow it down. It was originally 30, even that was narrowed down, but I was like, we gotta get the best of the best here, which really means ones that weren't 4 pixels big, but hey. We're not counting burgers. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, I would say a burger is a sandwich, but I would say not all sandwiches are burgers.
Yeah, a square rectangle situation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, today it's just gonna be sandwiches. There were too many. There were so many burgers.
You gotta narrow it down somehow.
Okay, so we have 5 categories for this tier list. We have the D tier, which is cursed. C, which is no thank you. B, which is could be improved. A, which is mouth-watering. And then we have S, which is I'm making this tonight. You'll not only be ranking these on what the best ingredients sound like, what the best real sandwich sounds like, but how they are represented in the game.
Sounds good to me.
So our first one is a little bit simple, but it's kind of a meme sandwich, so I felt like I needed to include it. This is gonna be the sandwich from Team Fortress 2. I'll specify right now that I believe that meat is ham from a diagram, but other than that, there are not many specific details. So what are you picking up from this sandwich here?
Well, I had a feeling that this sandwich was going to be on the list. I have never played Team Fortress 2, but I get comments a lot about this specific sandwich because the mascot for Roll for Sandwich, whose name is Earl, is a sandwich mimic that kind of looks like this.
Okay. I truly don't know. What's the deal with that olive? You supposed to eat that olive? What's it for?
I mean, it's like a garnish. It's the same thing as an olive with your cocktail. It's part of the drink, but it's part of the drink temporarily. I really think it's just for looks. I don't know if I've ever seen a sandwich in real life, at a restaurant or something, that has come with olives on top of it like that.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think I have.
It is a classical depiction of a sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a bad sandwich. It looks like probably Swiss cheese. I can see some holes. Mm-hmm. You said ham. I could see ham or possibly bologna based on the color there. I mean, pretty simple. Tomato, lettuce. We don't know if there's any sauce on it. I mean, this is an easy, middle of the road. Probably, I'd give it a B. Could be improved. If I rolled this for lunch, I would not be sad at all. Fairly normal, but in a good way. Fairly normal.
Yeah,
so.
It's no canned squid.
For sure.
All right, this next one, we have a sandwich from Starfield, and you can see it's a little bit of an upgrade aesthetically, but is it an upgrade with ingredients?
It looks like salami and either American or cheddar, some kind of yellow cheese, and then the roughage is a little bit hard to identify. I mean, at first you would think lettuce.
Sure.
But it's really jagged looking. So to me, I'm almost thinking it's arugula or perhaps even parsley.
They can't be putting they can't be putting parsley on this sandwich.
I mean, probably not.
Jake,
but
please. We live in a world with rules. We can't.
It's true. Well, Yeah, I mean, rules are made to be broken. I mean, this looks pretty simple. Like, I can't see tomato. I can't see anything other than lettuce. So it's definitely a little lacking. I would say this is a B, but it's a lower B than the one we just did.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
That one has a little bit more going for it, but this one is still it's a very simple, normal sandwich, something you'd throw together, just based on what you have in the house at the moment, and it would be a serviceable lunch.
Okay. It'd get the job done. Okay, so now we're about to get real spicy with it. Things get ramped up for this one. We have the sandwich that Eggman eats in Sonic, and this bad boy is something to behold.
Ooh. Okay.
I have zero,
Wow.
I do not have an ingredients list here, so you're gonna have to sort of jazz it based on what you see.
Little peek behind the curtain. Before Roll for Sandwich, back in high school, I worked at Subway for about 4 years.
Perfect.
And this is definitely giving me Subway vibes.
Yes.
I can see lettuce, tomato, olives, looks like pickle, some cold cuts on the top here, probably something like bologna or mortadella. I can see some white up there that looks like mayo. This is honestly pretty close to my go-to sub at Subway. Somewhere between an Italian and just a cold cut sandwich.
I'm also seeing something red at the top. Is that bell pepper maybe? Or just another layer of tomatoes?
Possibly. I mean, it could be another layer of tomatoes, which I would not be sad about. I like tomato a lot. It definitely could be something like bell pepper. For as low poly as it is, it looks pretty good to me. I might call this one mouthwatering, honestly.
Okay.
It reminds me of a real world sandwich that I enjoy. So I could definitely see this being the digital depiction of that.
Now, what's keeping it from getting an S? What is the sparkle factor you're looking for here?
For me, in particular, it has to have something special about it. This, like I said, looks like a Subway sandwich that you could get pretty much in any city in the country.
It's the layman's sandwich. If it's available to all peasants, it's not special. So we're actually going to skip on over to Cooking Mama 5 with what is known as the toasted sandwich. It says in the game that this consists of iceberg lettuce, tomato, hard-boiled egg slices, bacon, bread, mayonnaise, and garnished with parsley.
That's interesting. So it's basically a BLT plus hard-boiled egg.
The egg is a choice.
Toasted.
Bacon and egg on there.
Yeah, I don't dislike that choice. BLTs by themselves are a sandwich staple. They're delicious and simple. When you ran down the list, you didn't mention a cheese, correct?
You're correct. There's no cheese listed here. That's tough.
Right. So, there's no cheese on a BLT either.
Good point.
But that does mean that it's toasted purely for the toast factor. There's no melting cheese, there's nothing else there, just toast, which is fine, but it's a little lacking. The hard-boiled egg is interesting. I think it would be better if it was a fried egg.
Ooh.
Maybe with a runny yolk. That would also help balance the toasted bread because you'd have a little bit more moisture there. I think this could be improved. I think B is a decent place to put this.
This is from Cooking Mama. Let's cook. This is lettuce, roast chicken, bacon, bread, mayonnaise, tomato, cheese, garnished with some bamboo leaves.
Interesting.
We're getting fancy. I think this one's aesthetically pretty beautiful. Look at that cut.
Yeah, it's a nice, club sandwich, 3 layers. It's like a nice chicken bacon club, yeah. Remind me, did it say what the sauce was?
It's a mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise, okay. Yeah, this does look good. I think this is mouth-watering, I would say.
Okay.
There's enough going on here. Like I said, we're purely going off the hypothetical of this sandwich because chicken in a sandwich is a toss-up because if it's overcooked, if it's dry, that can really hurt your sandwich experience. But if it's good chicken, then that's good. So
we just got pixels.
It
what
looks
can you
good.
do?
Yeah, exactly. Mouth-watering, at least an appearance. If I saw this picture on a menu, I might order it. And whether I regretted it later is, I can't tell that now. So I have to go based on the picture. So I'm going to say mouth-watering.
We're going into a whole new territory with this one. This is where we're going to shake things up. We're actually entering your realm a little bit, if you ask me, because we are getting into potentially cursed territory. Definitely interesting ingredients. I can't say it's cursed, though. That's up for you to decide. So here we have the Sinner's Sandwich from Deadly Premonition. Oh. This is turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal. They don't say what kind of cereal. They just say cereal. Huh. Tell me about this. Could it work?
Turkey, strawberry jam, and cereal. Huh. That's a really strange picture because it looks like the insides of the sandwich are thrown on top of a JPEG of a regular slice of, like
True.
A regular half sandwich.
It does almost look like the jam is a topping. And I will say there are other pictures where it is entirely contained within the bread. So I'm not sure. Maybe rank just whichever one you'd prefer, and we can let the people decide.
Well, jam on the outside is a deal breaker.
Okay, all right, so that's out. Let's assume the jam is not on the outside then.
Cereal. That is such a wide... Cereal could be anything.
Would cornflakes versus Frosted Flakes change your mind? Like, is there a best cereal that could save this?
There are definitely cereals that would work. Backtracking a little bit, so the turkey and the jam, I'm actually not worried about. Like, you think about Thanksgiving, traditional American Thanksgiving, you eat turkey and cranberry sauce. Sure. Like, poultry and fruit flavors are not opposed to each other generally. American Chinese food, you get things like orange chicken. That's literally chicken covered in fruit jelly, basically. So that works. Like, it's not my favorite combination, but that works fine. The cereal really could be, like if we're talking grape nuts or something. Oof. Like, I don't want to experience that. I also don't want like full-size shredded wheat or something on there. There's a lot of things that wouldn't fit, but if it was something that was just middle of the road, that it's not going to affect the flavor very much, but it's just going to give you a nice crunch, like plain Cheerios. It's similar to adding like potato chips to a sandwich. It just gives you a little bit of crunch. Cheerios would do similar, except wouldn't add much like salt to the sandwich, which in this case wouldn't be terrible. So yeah, it's hard to say. It definitely floats between a C and a B for me. Really depends on what the cereal is.
You're not even considering cursed. You're like, yeah, I'll eat this.
No, so it's gonna be. I mean, I have much to compare it to of actually like real world cursed sandwiches.
That's fine.
So people might watch your video and think I'm insane, but they'll be right. The Thanksgiving connection, the cereal just giving a little bit of crunch, it can definitely be improved by putting the perfect cereal on there.
I like the optimism of the perfect cereal. Like, there is a cereal that takes this from a B to an A, and I like that kind of optimism and hopefulness in the world. Mm-hmm. I think we need more of that personally. This next one is coming to you from Kirby Dream Buffet. Now this one's interesting. We have our first crustless sandwich. Mm-hmm. I believe that meat is also going to be bacon. It doesn't specify, but there is bacon placed next to it, so I'm assuming that this is bacon. Mm-hmm. I see some sort of sauce. Tell me your thoughts here.
It could be a sauce, but that yellow could also be egg salad.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
If you look at the little square picture in the corner where it's more straight on, mm-hmm. that looks like quite a gap to just be sauce. So I honestly think it might be egg salad, lettuce, bacon, and cheese. I'm kind of a sucker for that really soft bread with the right filling. Like, you don't want a super soft bread and then like steak in the middle where it's hard to chew through or something. So depending on how the bacon is cooked, I mean, it looks good to me, I would eat it, but I think I'm gonna give it a B just because it's a little bit ambiguous.
Okay.
Because if that's sauce and not egg salad, if that's just mayo, that's a lot of mayo for one thing.
Yeah. As someone who is not a fan of mayo, I looked at that thinking it was mayo, and I was kind of like, ooh, oh boy, that's challenging.
Yeah, I think the depiction is what's hurting this one a little bit.
Now we are moving on to the Final Fantasy series. We're specifically going to be looking at Final Fantasy 15 first, and we are starting with, I might be pronouncing this wrong, the
Garulessandwich.
I have that it uses a type of wheat in the game that is likely for the exterior bread, and then it uses a Garulessa steak, which is described as sweet marbled meat containing plentiful fat and nutrients, so soft it melts on the tongue. So that's what we have. Those are the only 2 ingredients that are mentioned in the recipe. There could be more here, though.
A+ for presentation. It looks very good.
Truly.
So it didn't mention a sauce. The meat, assuming it's like a barbecue that just like falls apart when you bite into it. That sounds great.
Sure.
I think for this, my biggest issue would be the bread.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It looks a little chewy.
It almost looks, I can't decide, like a naan or a panini sort of bread, maybe?
Yeah, which could be good, but I definitely want some kind of sauce on there. I think we have a really good main, but I think it might need a little help.
There's another sandwich called the Grease Monkey Sandwich, something along those lines, that looks very similar, but you can almost see the green might look like a little sauce or something like that. So I'm wondering if that's also on the big one. What's the green sauce that... I know, very
like
descriptive.
Chimichurri?
Chimichurri, yes, exactly. Could it be a chimichurri on this?
Potentially. I might be pivoting here. I might be pivoting to mouth-watering.
Okay.
He's
turned.
Yeah, because the meat looks really good, and the description sounds great, and you don't need a lot with that. And I think the difference between an A here and an S tier is the sauce.
Okay.
And because we don't know about the sauce, it's got to be an A.
Okay, we're putting in an A. We're calling it a day. It sounded lame because it rhymed, but I didn't even mean it to. It's not fair. This time we're going for what is known as the multi-meat sandwich. These are the ingredients that I have for this sandwich. There's I apologize for any mispronunciations, a gear root, which is described as a handy vegetable that adds volume and vitamins to any dish, tastes fine in stews. This maybe in the real world might be an eggplant or something. That's maybe for you to decide. We also have what is known as the dagger quill breast, which is plump and healthy bird meat with an unpretentious flavor, which is the most pretentious description I've ever read. And the gighi ham, processed, salted, smoked, and then heated. And I might see a little bit of avocado in there too, but I'll leave it to the expert.
Yeah, that at the bottom there could be avocado. It could also be cucumber. Looks like.
Okay.
And then I agree with you. The root vegetable looks like eggplant, at least in this depiction. It's funny that they mentioned the bird breast, the chicken breast, but you can't see it. I'm assuming it's covered by the lettuce. So chicken and ham together is not an unheard of combination. You know, you have one, it said processed, smoked, salted. You have a lot of flavor there. Flavor and fat balancing out the lean, not as flavorful chicken, but that's giving you a lot of protein, a lot of staying power. You know, you eat the sandwich and you feel full and content. The bread looks to be kind of like a multigrain, something like that, which is fine, works great. Not my favorite, but it'll do. I feel like this one is going too many directions at the same time.
You can't decide.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's also bound to the rules of the world that it's from. You know, you make do with what you have, but I live in the real world, and in the real world, would I order this off of a menu based on looking at it? Probably not. If that was avocado, that would help for sure.
Okay.
If it's cucumber, you know, cucumber, eggplant, lettuce, that's a little bit boring for me, veggie-wise, on a sandwich.
I'm team avocado. Let's assume it's avocado for all intents and purposes.
That, for me, is enough to put it in a B.
Let's throw it in B. Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
live a little. Okay, well, I personally am very excited for the next one, and this is so much. We have the stacked ham sandwich.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a sandwich. But how much is too
It's
much?
like 4 sandwiches stacked on each other.
It seems like it.
Man.
What's your gut feeling about this one right off the bat?
Oh, boy.
There's that olive.
This one doesn't have an ingredients list.
Not all the ingredients, that's for sure.
Okay.
One
let's see.
controversial thing I'm seeing right off the bat, I think I see some shrimpies towards the top. That's a lot.
Yeah, maybe. That I'm still trying to get over this weird, like, Shakespeare ruffle of ham here. It's like the collars that they wear. Like, what is going on? How did that even How do they even do that?
The term meat collar is so cursed, I can't even start to process it. My brain refuses.
Yeah.
The only 3 ingredients it lists are sirloin, the ham, and the root again, so...
I don't even see the sirloin. I think they're lying.
We gotta go rogue here and base it off of what we're seeing.
Yeah. So here's the thing. More isn't necessarily better. There is a point of diminishing returns. This seems like one of those challenges where it's like you order this and you pay like $50 for it, and if you can't eat it in 5 minutes, then it's not free or whatever. But if you eat it in 5 minutes, you get a T-shirt and your picture on the wall, and it's free or something. But I don't think I would enjoy that experience. I'm gonna say no thanks. There's too much sandwich.
I don't think, and this is maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. I think it's definitely an objectively right or wrong thing. If I look at any sandwich and there's a slice of bread somewhere in the middle, I'm like, what have you done? I feel like it just ruins the integrity of a sandwich if there's bread somewhere in the middle. Bad take?
I mean, it depends on the sandwich. This is not that though. This is literally 4 sandwiches stacked on top of each other. Like, you can see a distinct top and bottom bun on the first set, and then again, and then again, and then again. Like, it's literally just, here, you want a sandwich? Eat 4 sandwiches.
We heard you like sandwiches, so we put a sandwich on your sandwich.
It's
so
true.
While you eat. Now we're going into your controversial territory. We're going to pull out some fish now. I don't want you to be afraid. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time.
Let's do it.
We have the crispy fish Fritterwich. And I got that right the first time, I think, and I'm pretty proud of myself. What do we think?
Okay. I mean, this is mild as far as fish goes. Like, this doesn't look like it would be incredibly fishy. This looks like a simple, like, cod fillet or, it's like a fast food fish sandwich. It actually looks pretty good the way that it is cooked. I would hope that it has a little mayo or tartar sauce on it, maybe some lemon juice. It could be okay. I'm not going to go as far as to say mouth-watering, but I wouldn't pass this up. But it doesn't look overtly, like, fishy.
That. Honestly, I hate all seafood, and I looked at this and I was like, okay, now hold on. Maybe I'll try a bite. So we're going over to Yakuza, and this is gonna be an interesting one because I do think it is a straight up photo of a sandwich, but I mean,
it appears to be.
It's in the game, we must rank it. This is the wild chicken sandwich, and the description is deep fried chicken breast slathered with Wild Jackson's original mayo. And I don't know who Wild Jackson is, and I'm a little nervous about his mayo being on this sandwich.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Why does the mayo have a name?
I don't.
Like a proper English name.
I hate it.
That worries me. I mean, it's just fried chicken, mayo, and like shreds of iceberg lettuce.
Yeah. It doesn't even really look like a coleslaw. It looks like it wants to be a coleslaw, but...
Yeah, it looks like hamster bedding.
Yeah.
Hamster bedding with some dude's mayo on it.
Which usually you have to pay extra for, honestly, but in some communities.
So...
The chicken doesn't look that good. It's like, if you're going to use a real photo, you couldn't find a better picture of chicken?
So it kind of looks like there's a bone in it. Like, it kind of just looks like a chicken thigh that you didn't take the bones out of. I'm at no thanks, honestly.
Okay.
It looks a little suspect.
It's tiptoeing the cursed, almost.
Yeah, I mean, depending on who this
Wild Jackson
guy is.
Let's meet Jackson first, and then we'll see if it's cursed or not. All right, well, I don't know if it's getting much better from here, because the next one we have is from Fallout 76. This is the Cranberry Meatball Grinder. Let's see what you think about this one. There's so much aesthetically to this one.
Yeah.
The only description we have is like what the recipe consists of, which is 3 times cranberries, 3 times scorched beast meat, which is basically a bat, and spices.
Okay. Well, based on so here's the thing about this picture. I understand that it is just a 3-dimensional shape where the side texture is a wrapped image, basically, of a meatball that just repeats. But because of that, it looks like a wall of meatballs embedded in cranberry jello.
I see. What I thought you were gonna say is what I'm seeing, which is like in a horror game, if there's like a wall of faces that are like coming out.
Yeah,
and screaming
it does not look appetizing whatsoever. And if it is indeed a bat meat within cranberry aspic, no, that's cursed. That sounds gross.
We've got our first cursed one. Wow.
Yeah, it does not look appetizing whatsoever. I mean, it is from the Fallout games, so, I mean, you gotta make do with what you can in the post-nuclear apocalyptic wasteland, but I don't, so no thank you.
I also like, it's got like almost a wood glue around the crust, which looks like just straight up cardboard. Well, let's see how you feel about this next one. This is from Deathloop, and it went kind of viral because it's just one of the many sandwiches that exist in the background, just like lying around. It's not highlighted in any way. And yet, the amount of attention and detail that went into it, I think you'll find very surprising. I don't have any sort of description, but I definitely see like a grilled or charred meat, some tomato, maybe a splash of ketchup, and what I think might be some sort of chipotle mayo?
Interesting. So here's my gut reaction to this. This is actually a everything bagel. But it's not bagel shaped. I feel like this is a like everything sourdough or something. Like you have the seasoning on top. That definitely could be mayo, but the way that it sticks out at the side, I'd almost say that's cream cheese.
Oh my gosh. What? With the specks? What about the specks, Jake?
That might just be, I would say that's just pepper.
Oh my gosh.
Just some salt and pepper. The weird charred meat is a little bit suspect, but it could be a lot of things. I don't hate this upon first glance.
You've turned this into something that I do hate, actually, now. You've warped it for me into something that I quite despise.
I mean, I would give this a go. I say B.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we have the Animal Crossing sandwiches. Now, Animal Crossing had way too many sandwiches, so I narrowed it down to 1, the most sandwich of the sandwiches, and 2, things that I thought were pretty unique. So for right now, what we're looking at is going to be the Animal Crossing veggie sandwich.
I mean, I can see tomato pretty definitively. Lettuce, I assume. That could be cheese in the middle, but also depends on if it's vegan or just vegetarian. The top looks like a whole mess of carrots or maybe sweet potato.
Yeah.
Which I'm not super excited about either of those in this context.
Also, so important. I need to specify this. I can't believe I forgot. This is a hot sandwich. There is steam that rises from this sandwich, and you can see it's kind of toasted on the outside. This is a warm sandwich, which I don't know how I feel about if it's vegetables.
So that's right away. No thanks.
Right away, no.
There is lettuce on it, which you don't heat up lettuce on a sandwich. That's gross. And tomatoes are fine heated, but this specific combination, like if you were gonna do like. Okay, so carrot or sweet potato on a sandwich, on a hot sandwich, sure. You got some sweet potato and cheese or something like that. But you don't put lettuce and tomato on that. Like lettuce and tomato are for a cold sandwich. Or tomato and cheese, you could do like a melt or something like that. But there's like two different sandwich halves pushed together. And I don't think it would be that enjoyable. I think that vegetarians and people out there looking for veggie sandwiches deserve better than this.
And speak up for them, honestly. Thank you. We have then, for your viewing pleasure, a salmon sandwich. And this one is not hot, as far as I remember.
So I know I said I don't like fish, but that's specifically fishy tasting things. I do really like sushi, however. And this is giving cucumber, salmon, and cream cheese. This is giving sushi.
Cream cheese.
I can definitely F with that. And it looks like it's on either a rye, some kind of dark, maybe a little bit more substantial bread, which I think works.
Every time you say cucumber, my brain thinks avocado.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel about that? Like, what if it was avocado?
I mean,
Doesn't
that would
salmon and avocado
also
go
be
together?
very good. I mean, yeah, that would be a Philly roll. That
Okay.
would literally be a Philly roll, which would be great. The reason why I think this is cucumber is just because of the alternating colors of green. But, you know, it could be either of those, and either of those would be good. I think I would put both of those in mouthwatering because those are
Okay.
literally both combinations of sushi rolls that I have eaten and enjoyed.
Our last one that we're going to look at specifically from Animal Crossing is going to be the Caprese sandwich set. Now, I want to choose this one because I think there are many interesting choices here made for a Caprese sandwich. Talk to me about this guy.
Definitely got the key ingredients of Caprese, which is what I assume this top part is the mozzarella. And then you have tomato. And then this green, I mean, it looks like lettuce, but if it's truly a Caprese, it's basil. And so I'm just going to chalk that up to the low resolution, low polygon, that texture is supposed to be basil. I can almost see within the basil some purplish hues.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of balsamic, which is great on a Caprese.
The purple made me lean towards a romaine lettuce.
I mean, it definitely could be that, but if they're going for Caprese, I would expect to see some purple as a sauce.
But would you expect to see black olive and red onion?
No. So there's black olives and red onions, which again, this is Caprese, but it's a Caprese sandwich. They're not just making a Caprese salad, so they're taking some liberties a little bit, but in a way that I don't think is terrible. Like, red onion would go with all of those flavors. The black olives are a little bit of a stretch. The bun looks a little like it would be a little potentially dry. It looks like wheat or something that I'd maybe want something a little bit lighter than that, but it could just be the lighting as well.
Do you remember those toys that were like, they were food, but they had Velcro, like you could make little, or like if you chopped the tomatoes, doesn't it look kind of like that,
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, it doesn't look too bad.
Now that is a lot of mozzarella, Jake. That's a lot. I like cheese, but
that's the thing, is it's a Caprese. There is no meat. There is the mozzarella is the main ingredient here.
That's true.
You know, if that's not what you're going for, you know, you shouldn't be ordering a Caprese sandwich.
Dang, get out of the kitchen, you're saying. Man up or get out of the kitchen.
I think it's pretty good. Like, the real world equivalent of this, I would order.
Okay.
I would go with this as mouth-watering.
Left field. I did not expect that one, but God bless and good luck to your families. We're actually going to go to the game Tales of Arise for this one, because I think this one beats out the Animal Crossing fruit sandwich. And again, we've got that very fluffy, crustless bread. I think beautiful symmetry, but I'll let you give thoughts here.
This is probably not where you thought this was going to go.
Oh, no.
Based on all of the sandwiches that we've seen so far. So it looks like we've got strawberry and kiwi.
You say it with such disgust in your voice.
And
strawberry.
See, I think you're misinterpreting.
Okay, maybe.
Misinterpreting my tone. And potentially mango. I honestly think this is an S tier sandwich.
Okay, yes, no, I entirely thought you were like, this is the scum of the earth, get this out of my face. We found one that impresses Jake.
No, I think this would be super refreshing and delicious. It's hard to beat fruit and whipped cream, and you put that on a nice soft bread where you can, you don't need a spoon or anything to eat it. You could just carry that around with you. Yeah, no, A+.
Wow.
Looks good to me.
I have an admission. I've never had one of these fruit sandwiches because there's something about the thought of, like, I don't know, the whipped cream with regular bread. Is it a regular bread or is it like a sweet specifically for these sandwiches?
It's probably Japanese milk bread. It's not like sweet. It's not like a donut or something, but it is maybe a little bit sweet. It's better than just like white bread that you could get at the store.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, sounds great. Sign me up.
Amazing. Run, don't walk to get these fruit sandwiches. I do like, they have like a little rind of orange in there that I think is a really, someone put thought into that. I like that. Mm-hmm. So our second to last sandwich is going to come from Genshin Impact. This is the katsu sandwich. and I do have a description here. The 2 bread slices clip a thick-cut katsu slab between them. The fragrant, slightly sweet and sour sauce is the key to preventing this meal from being too rich.
Yeah, that looks great. So katsu in general is just great. I love it. You know, you've got a nice, well-cooked, not too dry, either chicken or pork, tempura battered with that sweet and sour sauce. Sounds awesome. I honestly, the picture is selling it for me also with the lemon wedge, because acid will really cut through any fat, any richness. So if it's too much, you squeeze a little bit of lemon on there. Delicious. Looks great.
I don't know much about katsu sandwiches. Is this the type of bread you would expect, like a crustless white bread?
I mean, it can vary depending on where you are, but yeah, the bread is usually not the focus of the sandwich. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty much what I would expect. Honestly, if they hadn't really talked about the sauce, that would be my worry, but they gave me the whole picture here, both with the art and with the description. I think this is also an S tier sandwich.
Back-to-back S's. Incredible. Let's see if this third one can maybe also get an S spot. This is from Red Dead Redemption 2, the only open-faced sandwich that we have on the list, the lamb's fry sandwich. Tell me your initial thoughts.
You said an open-faced sandwich. I know that is an actual term, but in my opinion, that's not a sandwich.
Ugh! The list is ruined. The integrity of the list is ruined. That's okay. We'll make up for it. You still must rank this one. First of all, do you know lamb's fry? Have you had lamb's fry?
No. What are we talking about here?
So lamb's fry is made of lamb offal, and in the States, it's basically lamb testicles.
All right.
But it's got some beans in it too. It looks like, ironically.
Yeah. I definitely thought that was probably what we were looking at, or at least, I mean, it also could be rocks.
Hard to tell in the Wild West.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I have not ever had the chance to try any sort of testicle yet.
I mean,
knock on wood. Given my job, it could happen. So I can't evaluate it on that. But if I think of other organ meats that I have tried, they typically have like a little bit of a metallic taste. They can work in the right sandwich with the right ingredients. I don't think a dollop of beans and no sauce to speak of, and some potatoes and some peas.
It's a wet enough sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I don't think there's much saving you from just a pile of balls on bread.
Yeah.
So, no, cursed. No, thank you.
Okay, so the last thing we'll do before we get our top sandwich is I want you to take a look at the 10 that I had to cut down from 30 and just make sure that none of these should be on the list, perhaps in place of lamb's fry or something like that. It's basically like a validity check to make sure that the right sandwiches are on this list. Animal Crossing also has a mixed fruit sandwich. What do you think that?
Yeah, this one looks like it has honestly a little bit more cream than the one we rated. Like, I think this would be the same. This one has a couple fruits we didn't see in the other one. Like, I can almost see some pineapple, maybe something else.
I'll put that up in S tier, and then you can make a final call. Are there any others that you're like, this should be on the list?
I think you chose right.
Okay, I appreciate that validation. You hear that, commenters? Sandwich expert says I chose right. To get our top sandwich, Jake, you gotta tell us what the best video game sandwich is.
Anyone who's seen my show is going to be so surprised by this, just because this is not something we have really encountered. But I honestly think that Tails sandwich there is the best one.
Wow.
It looks great. I would destroy that.
Wow, there you have it, folks. The Tales of Arise fruit sandwich is officially the best sandwich in video game history, at least so far. But which one would you most like to try? And if you also want to rank all these sandwiches yourself, the link to the tier list is in the description. It has all 30 sandwiches, so you can check that out. But Jake, thank you so much. If people want to check your stuff out, what is the best place to do so? Where are they going?
You can go to rollforsandwich.com, and that'll show you all my links, or honestly, just Google roll for sandwich. I have great SEO. You will find me on all the platforms.
That's how you do it. It'll all be down in the description as well. I'm not even gonna bother going back to high quality Anna. You wanna close this video out with me?
Sure, let's do it.
Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.
Yay.
Goombanna is the wonder why she didn't come to play. Gaming vids that'll make you laugh and think and put them on replay. Intelligent, kind and funny, her community's #1. Stick around and kick your feet up. Goombanna has just begun.